Hi everyone, welcome to Chem Prep Hub. Uh, so I'll be beginning with a new question series. So this is basically solved previous year question series. Topic wise, I'll go for basically NEET Chemistry. And first topic will be alcohols, phenols, and ethers. We'll be covering organic chemistry in great detail, but basically through questions. Okay. This is alcohols, phenols, and ethers. Okay. So today's topic is this alcohols, phenols, and ethers. We'll be finishing this topic. Okay. Not today, but yes, in coming set of videos, I'll be focusing on this topic till we cover all the most repeated PYQs. So let's start with this question. Okay. So it says which one of the following alcohols reacts instantaneously with the Lucas reagent. Okay. So Lucas reagent is what has been asked here. Okay. So let's start. What is Lucas reagent? I'll give a brief idea of it. So I would like to mention here that nothing in this section, mostly in your exam, will be asked outside NCRT. Okay. So I would suggest you read NCRT quite thoroughly because if you have understood the concepts of NCRT, then you shouldn't be facing too much difficulties in solving all the questions because more or less all the questions are from NCRT. So Lucas reagent, okay? Lucas reagent. So this reagent is basically what it is. It is basically zinc chloride in concentrated hydrochloric acid. Okay. So zinc chloride in concentrated hydrochloric acid, right? So it is basically used for identification. Identification of what? Identification of 1 degree, that is primary, 2 degree, and 3 degree alcohols. Okay. So what happens? I'll give you a very basic context. Suppose you have a primary alcohol here. Let's suppose let's suppose this propanol. Okay. On the other hand, next you are having a secondary alcohol. Okay. Let's suppose propane 2-ol. And on one end you are having a tertiary alcohol. This is a 3 degree alcohol. Why 3 degree? Because the carbon to which this OH group is attached is connected to three alkyl chains. 1, 2, and 3. That's why 3 degree. So you give the same reagent, Lucas reagent, that is zinc chloride in concentrated HCl. You have provided here, same reagent you have provided in these two also. So what happens preliminarily, I will tell you. What happens is this 3 degree alcohol, it shows instant reaction or reacts instantly with Lucas reagent. It reacts instantly. Okay. Instantly, and you get to see two separate layers. Okay. Two separate layers and basically a precipitate settling down. On the other hand, for 2 degree alcohols, this reacts in 1 to 5 minutes, approximately 1 to 5 minutes, which means it is slower than 3 degree alcohol. Okay, this is slower than 3 degree alcohol, and the primary one, it does not react at all. no reaction. The primary one shows no reaction. Okay, now you may ask me, sir, what is the concept? Why 3 degree shows such instantaneous reaction with this reagent and why not 1 degree? So there is a basic organic chemistry to it. If you are providing a tertiary alcohol, okay, now you know oxygen has certain lone pairs on it, okay, and you are providing basically concentrated HCl, okay, and you are providing zinc chloride. Now zinc chloride by default it is a Lewis acid because zinc has orbitals, vacant orbitals to accept the electron pairs. What happens is HCl is already in the concentrated form, okay, plus this zinc chloride, this acts as a promoter for the removal of this OH group. Basically, you can think of it like this: chlorine attacks here. So chlorine positive, ZnCl2 negative, and more amount of H plus is formed. So this is like promoting more amount of H plus to be formed in the reaction mixture. So that this resultant H plus can be further captured by this hydroxyl oxygen and it can be converted to this because oxygen is donating its lone pair, so it is gaining a positive charge. Okay, so it gains a positive charge. Now to neutralize this bond will be broken. So you basically get water molecule here, and what is generated, this is important, is a 3 degree carbocation. It's a 3 degree carbocation. And we all know from our basic SN1 and SN2 reaction concepts that this 3 degree carbocation is highly stable. Why? Because of hyperconjugation phenomena. Because of hyperconjugation phenomena. Basically, the alpha hydrogens stabilize this positive charge. Okay. The alpha hydrogens they tend to stabilize this positive charge. So that is why, since this is so much stable, since it is highly stable in nature, that's why the reaction is fast. Because if something is highly stable, it wants to go towards that side, which is high stability side. Comparatively, 2 degree is kind of less stable carbocation. We know 3 degree carbocation is most stable, followed by 2 degree carbocation, then least 1 degree carbocation. That is why 2 degree reacts slower because the carbocation is not that much stable as 3 degree. And finally, 1 degree does not show any reaction, or you can say no reaction at all. Okay. So that means the fastest reaction will be the one having the tertiary alcohol group, which means in our case, which of the following reacts instantaneously with Lucas reagent is the question. In our case, this one will be the correct answer. Okay, because you see, this won't react. This is primary alcohol. This also won't react. This is also primary alcohol, CH2OH. This carbon is attached to only one carbon. This is also not the case. And this is also not the case. Although this is a secondary alcohol, but the question asks instantaneously. Instantaneously means rapid fast reaction. So this tertiary one is the correct answer. So for more details, you can move on to a section of NCRT. This is the practical guide section. So they have clearly mentioned about Lucas test here. Nothing extra, whatever I told you about Lucas reagent. They have just mentioned the same thing. Like you can read this section. The same thing, zinc chloride, concentrated HCl. They say primary alcohol shows no reaction or very slow reaction. Most cases it is no reaction. And then this thing forms like they have shown in the salt form. You see, they have shown it in the salt form. Basically, this is like Cr positive and basically Cl negative. Where from this Cl comes? Cl comes from this HCl, H plus and Cl minus. Okay. They have shown it in the salt form. I explained you in the carbocation form, just that's the difference. So they are saying primary alcohols layers do not separate at all, no reaction. Secondary alcohols layers separate within 1 to 5 minutes, as I already mentioned. Tertiary alcohols layers separate immediately. So formation of two layers indicate the occurrence of reaction. So I think that's all for this case, this section. I'll be coming up with more questions, more detailed explanations. Please subscribe. Please send this to your friends also. It's very important. Okay. So this is a new channel. I would request you to please help me to grow and reach people so that all can benefit. Thank you.